Hi, welcome back to the Jack and Glen channel. I'm Jackie.
I'm her husband, Glen.
He's my husband, Glen.
Hey, before we get started, make sure you hit the subscribe button. Make sure you hit the bell notification so you don't miss any of our reviews.
Yep, ready to love.
Ready to love? Are you ready to love? I'm ready to love.
Okay.
What?
So, we started this episode with all the ladies going to Tommy's house. Nephew Tommy's house.
Boy.
The compound.
The compound to nephew Tommy and Miss Jackie.
Yeah, talk to Miss Jackie, and Tommy gives us a little insight into him and Miss Jackie, that they met in college, and they've been married for 20 years.
20 years.
I promise you, this is a side note. We have listened to the Steve Harvey Morning Show for years, and it was a long time before we even knew Tommy was married.
That's a good thing. Some people like to keep it secret. Keep your business life and your personal and business life totally separate.
And the fact that they've been married 20 years just knocked me out. But anyway.
Hey, 20 long years. Happiness. We'll be married 20 years in October.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, it's good.
And so Tommy lets the ladies know that, they got to meet some friends of the guys last week. And so now you got to introduce them to some friends of yours. But the twist is...
Here's the twist. He told you at the beginning of this season there going to be some curveballs.
Yes.
And he's throwing curveballs left and right the whole season long. And here's another curveball coming at you.
And so who they have to introduce the guys to are their ex-boyfriends.
Their ex-boyfriends.
Their exes. Like, why?
They was like, oh my goodness. Everybody was like, why? Why?
And Kyra was like, I don't even know if I'm cool with one of my exes enough to have them meet
a
guy. But
I don't know. How many people are cool with exes that they can meet up with? I mean...
Me. I could.
You cool with your ex?
I could.
I liked your ex. So he was cool, dude. We'll tell you that story. We'll tell you that story later, dog. We'll tell you that story
You'll
later.
have to tune into the podcast.
Yeah, tune into the podcast. Tune into the podcast. We'll tell you that story.
But Tommy says when you introduce the guys to your exes, pay attention to how they act, how they respond. And, if you're cool with your ex, which hopefully you are if you're bringing them to meet this guy, get their perspective, how they feel about the guy, And, yeah. So, first we have Vernisha introduces Joelle to her ex, David.
Now, baby.
Yeah, and we found out that David is from New Orleans
David's
as well.
from New Orleans as well.
I thought he was. She said it later on. I was like, okay, so they kind of hit it off on that. But, she lets David know that Joelle's a potential mate. And, she said it's not her first rodeo doing this. I guess kind of having to introduce her ex. And so she lets Joelle know up front, like, this is my ex.
Yeah, but
because at first he comes in, it's like, hey, how you doing?
Yeah,
he's like, this is different. Who's this?
Yeah, he thinks it's like a brother, cousin, whatever the case may be. Obviously she didn't tell him prior to the date, but he comes in and he sees, David there, and like, hey, what's up, man? How you doing? Blah, blah, blah. And she's like, oh, this is my ex. Joelle like, hold on, baby. He like, what you mean? And then she explains, what's going on and why David is there.
Yeah. And so David's question to Joelle is, are you the jealous type? And Joelle says, no, he's not the jealous type.
Nah, you got a guy in this competition, you can't be jealous. You can have what you want and you can like Vernisha, but you can't be jealous. And he seemed like he's an even flow type of guy where, okay, baby, if you want to leave, go ahead and leave. If you want to stay, go ahead and stay. If you want to be, you can't be jealous.
Well, David's thing is that you see Vernisha, and, it'd be like dudes checking her out. Not just in a competition, but, dudes might be checking her out, and he want to know how you going to carry yourself.
Like most men, look, if you got a woman and no one thinks your woman look good and no one try to check your woman out, I think that's an issue. I don't mind men checking my women out because I know who she's going on with.
Women?
My wife, excuse me, not women. I don't have women. I have a woman. What's up, boo? Anyway, so she can come home. I don't mind. I don't mind because that means I have something that somebody else wants. So.
Apparently you have more than one something.
No, I don't have more. Trust me.
I know it's a slip of the tongue. It's okay.
It's a slip of the tongue.
It's okay.
It's hard enough to work with one more than have multiple.
And so then Joelle has a question to ask. He wants to know, is Vernisha clingy? And David like, nah, she's not clingy at all.
Hold on, we gotta give a backdrop. This comes from when she was met with his friends. And when she met with his friend and they asked her, it seemed like she was real clingy and always want to be around Joelle.
And she said she was territorial.
Territorial. And that she always want to be around Joelle, and Joelle doesn't want anybody who's that territorial.
Yeah, but what Vernisha explained is too. She was like, she's a big on communication.
Yes.
Yeah. And she and Joelle had a lack of communication. They were supposed to go out somewhere. He had something to take care of. There's something he had to take care of. Kind of ran over, and
he never called.
Then he wasn't gonna, meet up with her, and he never let her know. And he was like, well, I just figured you knew if I didn't show up that something came up. And the thing was, no, we got to talk about it.
Yeah, you can't do that. Especially if you're supposed to meet somebody somewhere, you need to let the communication. Because, again, I know most people mind, like, what happened? Did you get in an accident? Did something, in this case, did you meet up with the police? Whatever case may be, you have to communicate. So, you know what? Something came up at work. I'm not going to be able to make it now. Something came up at here. Whatever it is, communication is the key to any relationship. Yeah. Because she was hot.
Yeah. And Joelle acknowledged she could have handled it better. David also expressed, about the communication.
Yeah.
You got to let her know. And Joelle said he liked meeting David. He liked the fact that he was neutral. He didn't really take Vernisha's side.
Yeah, he didn't take both sides. He was listening.
So, yeah, he could appreciate that meetup. All right. So, then we see Alexis and her ex-boyfriend, Joseph, which we find out this is a boyfriend she had before her ex-husband. Now, so she dug in the crates for that.
Which made all you guys made me think, hold up, why couldn't you get the ex-husband?
No, I don't.
That was the most recent. That was your most recent ex,
right? But it's not just the most recent ex. It's get along. Would they be reasonable? Is this somebody that
I don't know. The pastor. So, you mean the pastor couldn't get along with his ex?
Maybe not. We don't know what happened with them.
I don't know, but I'm saying it's just. I found it interesting that she couldn't get her ex-husband, to be the ex.
Because maybe they're not cool. They're exes.
Well, she got some ex.
But because she said this is a good friend of hers. Like she said, they go way back. But anyway, so she introduces her friend Joseph to Ron.
Yeah.
And when Ron came in, he was like, he felt confident. He wasn't really worried about it or whatever.
Yeah.
Joseph expressed that he could see their chemistry at the door when Alexis let Ron in. And so Joseph has some questions for Ron. He asks, if y'all have an argument, how you handled it. And Ron was like, I argue like a guy. Yeah. Basically, like
straightforward.
He said it like he's kind of cutthroat.
Yeah.
Because it made Joseph say, even though you have a disagreement or argument, you still have to let her know that you care for her and that she's
I understand what Ron is. I'm a man, so we have arguments, we have disagreements. Sometimes men don't like to beat around the bush. We want to go straight to whatever it is. Okay, here's the problem. Let's fix it and move on. Let's not be mad at each other for the next 10, 15, 20 hours. Whatever the problem is, fix it and we move on. Let's go.
Yeah, I didn't get that from what he was saying.
I got that from what he was saying. I got that what he's saying. He was arguing. He gets to the point. He's strict about it, and let's move. That he's not gonna try to linger all day with it.
Yeah, no, I didn't get that.
Oh, so what did you
because
get?
The next thing, because this is the thing, his response to Joseph was, I need to work on that. That words of affirmation are not my strong suit.
But who gives words of affirmation after an argument? We fix the argument, we move on, I apologize, you apologize, let's go.
Because during the argument, you'd be like, hey, I didn't like it when, or so-and-so, I care about you, so I want to, that's what he meant.
I don't argue like that.
No, I mean.
We don't argue, though. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, so Ron asked Joseph, are you really religious? And Joseph was like, well, yeah. And so then Ron, with his sarcastic tale, says, oh, yeah, I could feel the religion coming off of him.
He felt the anointing. He felt...
Wait, no.
He felt the Holy Ghost. He felt the power of God.
Yeah, it just didn't sit right with Alexis because he also said he had, she expressed the fact that when she was dealing with Joseph, being that she had a strong religious foundation, it drew Joseph into getting his relationship better. And Ron was like, I had a bad experience with church, not really feeling church.
Not really feeling church.
Yeah, and you might be the type to go pray about something.
I'm the type to go get it done.
I'm not the type to go pray about it. I'm just going to get it done.
He said he's going to just get it done, which, he's not going to pray about it. That's a whole different podcast on itself, because there's some things that God gives you the power to do that there's necessarily don't need prayer in.
Yeah, but and then his thing was, he was like, I don't want religion forced on me. I hope she don't think I'm going to do a whole 180 because I'm dealing with her. And he said he ain't gonna pray about nothing.
But he went in about that again because of her religious standpoint and her religious status. She knows that, and I guess she at the point now. If you continue to look at the show, she's at the point now like, do I continue? I like Ron. I enjoy Ron. I want to be with Ron. Do we continue to be unequally yoked, or do I find somebody else and go here? Because again, she has AJ, So that's where she's at the limiting. Ron is like, yo, ain't nobody gonna make me conform to anything. If you want to be with me, you be with me. Not be with me because you want me to be a Christian, or I'm not even saying he's not a Christian. Want me to be like you want me to be. And that's the mindset Ron having right now.
So next we see Vernisha going to her friend's nail bar. She said her friend has a nail bar, and she just really wants some time for the ladies to relax and chill.
Yeah.
And so she invites some of the ladies over and for some pampering, and they have a bartender there, and she's making cocktails that resemble their guys. So she's like, describe your guy to me. And so she's making drinks. And so Kyra, the description she gave, she had the Jason drink. Vernisha, of course, had the Joelle drink. Liz had a David drink. And Alexis had a Ron drink. And so the ladies talk about how the process of going through the Ready to Love is making them feel. And she says, she's learned a lot about herself. She's got more emotions than, she's having to deal with. And so...
you think about it. You're dating multiple people. I know they show us with one person who she's connected to, but she's dating multiple people. On top of this, they're not at a resort this year. So she's still running her business at home, handling Joelle, and still handling her kids. That's a lot for anyone. And not even talking about the filming and all the other stuff that you have to go through. So she holding it down. Yeah.
The other little funny thing is that at one point, so Vernisha was like, I haven't had to taste the AJ. She wasn't going to get the AJ drink. And how they don't think that Kyra's done with AJ. Well, then Kyra and Liz had this whole little back and forth about the Jason and David drinking. So Liz says, I think I want to order this taste of Jason. Let me see what's up with that. And Kyra's like, well, I'm going to get a taste of David.
It was playful fun, man. It wasn't beefing. It was just it was a little bit playful.
Nah, it was a little bit of shade.
A little bit of shade, playful competition.
Yeah. And so Alexis,
they know what they're there for.
Yeah, Alexis and Vernisha said, both shared that, y'all getting kisses. We ain't even got no kiss yet.
They ain't got no kiss yet.
They both said they haven't been kissed yet, so.
Well, not on the lips. They've been kissed on the head and the cheek and the jaw. Yeah. And all that. Let me kiss you on the jaw, baby.
And so Amber was missing from the pamper. Just a side note.
Yeah.
All right. So Liz invites her ex Clarence.
My man, right there.
Out to meet David. And the one thing she said about Clarence is she said they did date in the past. It really didn't hit off to anything, nothing romantic. And they found out they were better friends, and he's like a big brother to her. Yeah. And she really trusts his opinion. And so she wants him to feel David out. All right. So she shared with him that when she met with David's friends, that after
off camera,
their little conversation, and that David shared in front of his friends he made a comment about her kissing Jason.
Yeah, but we all know David felt some type of way about her kissing Jason anyway.
Yes.
If you watch the deliberation from last week, week for last, you saw David when they said Jason said he kissed Liz. David like what? He was hot.
But he knew already because she had told him.
She already told him.
So I don't really know. I don't really understand.
For him to hear it though, he felt some type of way. So
yeah, and so she was like, you know, she didn't appreciate it because I don't know these people. It's my first time meeting them. And then you make a slick comment like, oh, did Jason kiss you again? Did you kiss Jason again? So she really didn't like that. And she made a point to tell Clarence that, you know, if they could go there and talk about that. So anyway, David comes in and Liz introduces, and David's like,
he like, what's this?
What's going on?
He had no clue what was going on. I'm meeting your ex. He was like.
I mean, I think none of them had a clue what was going on. They had to let him know, but just his reaction was like,
his reaction was totally a shock.
Yeah, and Clarence didn't really care for that too much.
Nah.
And so David's first question is, when's the last time y'all was intimate?
Yo, because he was look, you gotta read between this. Another man comes in the room, he's the ex, right? Liz already told him she's celibate, right? He's intimidated by Clarence. Clarence didn't even open his mouth, and David is already intimidated by Clarence. By his presence, by him and Liz's interaction, by the way that the presence and the aura in the room, David's he's intimidated by Clarence as soon as he walked in that room.
But wrong move. Why your first thing gotta be when was the last time and were y'all intimate? Like for real, that's like none of your business.
Right, because
that's not the point of this.
But this is coming from the guy who doesn't want to have sex till he's married though. Right? Hold on. This coming from the guy who doesn't want to have sex until he's married, regardless of when they were intimate. If dude would say, you know what, we was intimate 2 months ago, right? It shouldn't make any difference. Because she's on the show to find love and you're not trying to get with Clarence, you're trying to get with Liz.
Right, but I guess he's like, it feel more like a setup, like what are we doing if this is a guy you mess with? But anyway, so Clarence is like, well, I mean, we kissed once or twice years ago.
Years ago, yeah.
A long time ago. He was like, so long ago, I can't even really remember when. And David's like, that was an issue for David. Like, I'm like, bruh, this is crazy.
He couldn't handle it. He couldn't take that. Again, that shows his possessive nature.
Yeah. And then he goes on to have a conversation about how important communication is. And I want the woman I'm dealing with to be a safe place for me. And, I'll be a safe place for her. And so Clarence is like,
my man,
word?
He said, so you want her to be a safe place? And you'll be safe, but you're going back and telling your friends what she shared with you in confidence. How can it can't be one-sided? It has to go both ways. If you want her to be to keep what you give to her in confidence, you got to be able to give what she gives to you in confidence. And David didn't care for that too much, and Clarence was like, well, did you see anything wrong before you said it? Did you catch on to her gestures? Yeah. How
she felt about it? And did it even matter? And David was like, no, I didn't notice. And it didn't matter. He was like, you're solid to me. You're solid to me.
Yeah, and I didn't know what that solid mean. Like, oh, you're my number one. She is your number one. Nobody else is after David. And he knows I have to keep Liz around, because if I keep Liz around, I keep myself around. At least I get one vote. But if Liz goes home, guess who else is going home?
Me.
He's going home. He has to go.
Yeah, Liz was like, she just felt like it was a dishonest response and felt like he was covering up. Like, you never answered the question. Did it matter to you how I felt? Did you even notice?
Yeah.
Like, you got to be able to notice that kind of stuff when you're in a relationship. If you're, we're not in a relationship, when you dating somebody, like, she obviously was uncomfortable. Like, you're not paying any attention to it.
No.
So does it matter to you?
Yeah, it does matter, and you got to pay attention. You got to know what's going on. You got to be able to, especially in communication, be able to say back what the person said and know the meaning behind the way that they said it. So you got to be an interaction in relationships. You just can't be like, whatever.
Yeah.
And I think David had checked out as soon as he saw Clarence at the table.
Yeah. Liz said, she felt there had been a disconnect with them, and that was solidified that day. And David was like the whole convo, the vibe, and her, him being there. He said, I want to bring down the strength in this room. I was like, strength? You want to bring down the strength in the room?
And my man said, ain't nothing weak about me, dog. I'm a man. Clarence was like, ain't nothing weak about me. I don't understand, bring down the strength. In other words, he felt tension in the room. Again,
that would have been a better word. Tension.
He felt tension. It was tension was so thick you could cut it with a knife. It's just something like that. Anything of that nature. But what he said didn't make any sense.
Yeah, but Dave was like, he ain't like the whole thing. He was like, I'm grown. I ain't like having another person in there. Like, the whole point of the exercise from Tommy, like, it absolutely displayed with David. I was like, wow.
It showed you what David was.
Wow.
It showed you where he was at. He couldn't handle it. Again,
true colors.
True colors come in. Alpha male steps in the room. The weaker vessel steps down.
Yeah.
And that's what it was.
All right. So then we see Kyra and Jason. They go out on a date.
Yeah.
But as they sit down, Kyra's like, well, I want you to know, I got my ex Timothy coming over. And, she explains why. And actually, Timothy didn't come over. He's on Zoom.
He's on Zoom. Look, I think when you dealing with, first of all, Jason's a little bit younger than her. When you dealing with a guy and you got to introduce him to your ex or introduce him to another male in your family, none of these guys should be blindsided. I think that was the biggest thing for a lot of these guys, that we're blind. I don't even know what I'm over here for. I'm over here to spend time with you. I'm over here to be with you. But here, you blindside me. But, Jason was a little bit different. Him and Anthony seemed like they got along pretty well. Timothy.
Yeah. He's like, how long have you been single? He said about 1.5 years. How does Jason ask Timothy, how does Kyra handle stress? And Timothy was like, well, she doesn't really admit things. She has a problem letting things go. And then they talked about whether Kyra was financially responsible. And Timothy was like, she makes her money, she spends it. She needs some help budgeting.
And Jason like, I can help her budget.
Yeah, and that was a concern for Jason. Yeah. But Kyra said she felt uncomfortable. She said, I'm not the best with money management, but like, I don't really need. She didn't really care for him. I'm gonna help you with that type stuff.
But they're not even dating yet.
Right.
That's my biggest thing. You're dating.
But not seriously.
Not seriously. You can have those questions maybe 6 months down the road if you're talking about marriage a little bit. But when you dealing with now her budget and you could help her out, but I just thought that question was a little too premature. Mm-hmm. We know we got Chris in trouble last year. Questions like that. So
yeah, but overall, Timothy said that he could tell they vibed well, and
they got good energy.
He had no problem with it. All right, so last but not least,
oh boy,
we see Amber and her ex Tony.
Yeah,
they meet Chris, and so Chris comes in and he's like, who's this? In a nice way, though. Amber really sets him up front. Yeah, like, hey, this is my ex.
It made it nice and simple for him.
Yeah, this is my ex, Tony. Mm-hmm. And so our task was to introduce an ex to the guy we're dating.
And she explained it, though.
Yes.
And I think that's key for me because, again, she didn't just let Chris walk into this thing blind. She explained it and she told him what was going on. It shows you how much care and respect that she has for Chris. Mm-hmm. And I think that's where I look like, okay, she really likes this dude. Regardless of who they bring in, I think Amber is going to be with Chris. Unless, to me, if they don't end up together on the show, it's going to be a bombshell. But nonetheless, I digress. She introduced her friend to Chris, and Chris was cool with it.
Yeah. And they talked about what Tony asked Chris, was he interested in having a family? And Chris was like, yeah, I like 5 kids, but I'll settle for 3. And he was like, okay, how you feel about that, Amber? And Amber's like, I'm good with that. Yes. The weirdest thing that I'm not used to. I'm sure it's people, obviously, they feel this way. But Amber said her biggest thing is her top priority is being a mother. She was like, a wife is after. She's the biggest thing for me. She wants to be a mother. I was like, okay, so you want to be a mother, but you don't want to be married.
And again, she want to be a mother before she married. That's just certain generations, and doesn't make it right. That goes back to her value system, her belief. Doesn't sit well with us. But we just reviewers who reviewing the show. Because some people like to have kids before they have a relationship. Well, I don't get it. To me, that's the cart before the horse.
Yeah,
it's backwards.
I mean, most people that I know, and I'm not even talking about married people.
Right.
Even when we were single, most of my friends and everything, when we talked about that, it was like they wanted a relationship before motherhood. It wasn't like, I mean, you do hear that nowadays though. It's a lot of ladies that be like, I can have a motherhood. I ain't got to have no man.
Yeah, but why would you want to? I'm not saying you're struggling, but why put yourself through that? Where you can have a support system that has some help.
They just
I
that biological clock be ticking and
It be ticking. So.
But anyway, so Chris is like, he kind of felt like something was going on.
Mm-hmm.
He said, what I see is like y'all are more than exes. Like what happened there? And Amber explains, yeah, we did have an obstacle that we have to go through that was related to them breaking up.
As soon as I saw it, I called it. As soon as I saw it came in, he walked through the door, I called it. And I was like, yo, they was in a relationship, and he told Amber that he likes same sex.
And that's what it is.
And that's what it was.
That's what it is. And he came out as being interested in guys, and when they were together, and the reason why they're still cool and friends is, like she said, I couldn't be mad at him in that moment because it was his truth, but he needed support, so I was there to support him. And Tony appreciated the support.
He appreciated the support, and and likewise, he's like Amber's really one of his closest friends that she's willing to, they're real close, to tight knit. So, and Chris seemed like he liked the conversation they were having. He liked the atmosphere or aura of what was going on with all of them.
Well, and he liked Amber's response to Tony.
Yeah.
It showed him that she was more understanding and caring, and that's what he's looking for too. So, then we see Alexis, Liz, AJ, and Jason go out, and Alexis' thing is she's scared of AJ, that he's gonna break her heart.
Yeah.
She's like, when I'm around him, I feel giddy, like I feel the butterflies.
Didn't what's her name say that last season? Adriana.
Yeah.
Said when she around Cal Fani, she get the butterflies on the stomach, and when she get giddy, and we all know how that ended.
Yeah, like that puppy love stuff. And so, but Alexis is a little bit older.
Yeah.
But yeah, she's like, I just feel that, and I'm scared that I'm gonna get my heart broke. So Liz is growing on Jason. They're sitting there, they're holding hands while the little conversation's going on or whatever. And Jason says after his date with Kyra and her ex that he's not sure how he feels about Kyra anymore. And
yeah, that was a shocker though.
Yeah, Liz says kind of almost the same thing Alexis said about AJ, that she kind of feels like a kid again when she's dealing with Jason. And he says he enjoys every single date with Liz, every single moment. He loves everything about it.
He loves him some Liz. I love me some Liz, and that's what he does.
Apparently,
he loves him some Liz. So
so Alexis talks about again how she has this like magical energy with AJ, and it's the butterflies, and it confuses her. And she says, I feel like I could easily fall in love with him. And if I let my guard down, immediately, like I would be there, and I'm afraid that he wouldn't be there with me.
But this is where you got Ron on one end, you got AJ on the other, and they're kind of totally opposites in this case. And when it comes to all this, she's willing to. You see when she with Ron, she's not Ron, but she was with AJ. She's more affectionate. She's more touchy feely. She's more involved. When she with Ron, they just got the dancing thing going on. So I don't know how she's gonna handle the break. I don't know how she's gonna handle the to break these two guys up. And who's Willie 1 and who's Willie 2, and if she got to tell Ron that he's 2 and AJ that he's 1, or got to tell AJ he's 1 and Ron 2, it's just
Yeah.
The break that she has to make is gonna be difficult.
Yeah, and so when she makes that comment, AJ's like, it kind of made me feel like you've already made your choice because you think I'm gonna break your heart, and I don't know how to feel. And they were holding hands, and like she explains that, well, I chose Ron because Ron chose me.
Yeah.
He expressed the interest in me, and I really didn't get that from you. I'm like not getting the complete interest thing.
But everybody said that though. Everybody said that to AJ. Amber said that. The other girls in Deliberation have said that. Like, yo, he's not here. He's here, but he's not here. Like, it was always easy to him. Girls throw themselves at him, and he's not willing to work. And that's what translation. That's what they're saying. You didn't really work for me, but somehow I still like you.
And what he told her was that I haven't told anybody straight up like it's all about you. Like I'm really feeling you. So basically, so she don't have to feel bad. It's not like I'm telling everybody else, but I'm not telling you. I ain't telling nobody that. And so Alexis, in her little side conversation, she says, Tommy said to try go for something different. And so I did that with Ron, basically is what she's saying. Yeah. She said, but I'm still feeling AJ. I'm like really feeling him. That's fine.
Because the Ron date was booty.
Yeah. And so she said, I'm looking for someone that's made a decision that's firm in whatever it is that they're going to do. And they made a decision in their heart as much as she has. Because she said, I made a decision in my heart. So I want somebody that's decisive and, is there too. I don't want somebody that's still confused.
Nah, she want a real guy, but she has to look at it from this standpoint. You got to be able to date too and have conversation with both. And her and Ron really didn't really date that much. That we saw a lot of phone conversation that they said they'd been on. But her and AJ went on a lot of dates. Her and AJ been on dates almost every part of the show. So you got to balance that thing out in order to get attraction in relationship feelings from that person.
Yeah. And so in the midst of her talking, AJ shuts her up.
Yeah.
And plants that kiss on her. Remember, she said she hadn't had a kiss before. She got one now.
She got one now.
And you talking about, she had them butterflies must have really been going crazy. Like she could have floated up like they do in the cartoons when they get kissed. And meanwhile,
you trying to say her soul left her?
Jason, I'm talking about her body. like Pepe Le Pew.
Oh yeah, the body. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
And so Jason's over there pumping up. Yeah, AJ, go ahead. Yeah, And he basically expresses to Alexis that, look, I'm serious in my pursuit of you. Like this is not a game. I like you. And I'm trying to go there with you.
He don't have a number two either.
Where's Kyra?
But we all know where Kyra's going. I'm sorry.
But that's a problem though, because Kyra and Liz are both on the Jason train. They both got a taste of Jason. So that triangle again.
It's about that square. Anyway.
But it's not a square because it's not crisscrossing.
It's triangle, yeah.
But the ladies end up meeting back up with Tommy and Miss Jackie at the house again. Yep. And Vernisha explains how the date with the ex went. That her ex David said that he likes Joelle for her. They have a lot in common. They're both from New Orleans.
Yep, baby.
Alexis shared that Ron's comment about the religion, it just really messed with her. And like her faith in God, it's a non-negotiable. And Tommy puts it.
Go ahead. No, I'm just saying, when you say non-negotiable, it made me think like when you're getting a person in a relationship and when you're getting somebody to deal with whether it's marriage or not, you get their religion as well. I'm not saying that you have to accept it, but they're gonna share it with you. They're gonna have conversations with you, and it's your choice to accept it or not. And I don't think he was able to handle the deep conversation that So.
Yeah, he does not seem very bendable. Like he wants to compromise on that at all. He's adamant that you're not gonna throw your religion on me. I'm not going for it. And that's just not. That's not going to work for Alexis. I'm just going to say it like it is. It's not going to work for her. But with her saying it and us looking on, it's like, that's not going to work.
Yeah, but when you're hurt and you're trying to get past her in the place that you want, the place that hurts you is where people want you to go, you can't do that. I mean, his mental, his health, is all that is no. And I understand trying to get somebody. There's a difference between trying to make somebody convert somebody and allow them to learn it and do it on their own.
Yeah, but he don't even seem like he. That's the thing. He don't seem like he wanna learn or do it all. So that's a problem.
He has bit sour taste again. Sour taste with the church or with the people in his church.
Yeah, but she said, they talk about does it make her feel different about him, and Tommy's like, how many times you gonna keep going back to this moment? Because you're gonna get past it, but you're gonna come back to this moment. Like, can I deal with somebody who does not share the same religious value or value in religion that I have? And she says, I don't want to choose between him and God because I'm gonna pick God.
But that's $1 million question. I mean, you can deal. I won't say this. She's gonna pick God, but you gotta find love too. And so I'm not telling them to be unequally yoked, but she gotta make. Hey, have that conversation, Ron. Like, what are you gonna do? This is me. This is me. You're getting me, and I really want to get you, but don't stop me from doing me. And I'm gonna show you love. And I'm involved in the church. I'm gonna do all that, but don't stop showing me. Mm-hmm. And that's where she want to embrace that at. And so, maybe she's doing it for the cameras. I don't know. I mean, maybe her love for God is that deep that this is what I need.
Yeah, but Tommy in the end tells her, you literally have a lot to pray about. Like this, you need to go pray about this and figure it out.
You need to go on a 40-day.
Liz talks about the date with David and Clarence and how it was so intense, and she just don't know about David at this point. Like
too many red flags.
It rubbed her the wrong way.
It's too many red flags. She's seen some things that she didn't like. It was like, Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde. Mm-hmm. She's seen she's seen Mr. Hyde.
Yeah.
She's seen some things come out of David that shouldn't have came out. And if I'm you, Liz, run.
Yeah.
Self-eliminate.
Yeah. So finally, Tommy's like, okay, if you had to choose today, who would you pick? And of course, or who would you leave with today? Kyra says Jason. Liz says Jason.
Yeah.
Of course, Vernisha says Joelle. And of course, Amber says Chris. And Alexis says AJ. And she talks about how they got this lovey-dovey romantical type of thing. And while she's talking about it, Kyra's kind of looking like, but you already picked Jason.
Yeah, I picked Jason.
But she's kind of looking like, okay. Wow. But Alexis says she'll pick AJ. And I believe her. So
yeah, I do too. With
that rubbing her the wrong way, and the thing with David rubbing Liz the wrong way, we already know that's who they're gonna go talk to. And but before they leave, the final words from Miss Jackie is: go with your heart, and really for real, pray about what your decision is.
Yeah, because you gotta go. When you're at this point, and even in the show, or you're in this point of life, you have to be delicate when you deal with people. Because when people are one way or they set, you don't want to push them further away. Mm-hmm. You want to be able to embrace them. And I think it's less that loving kindness have I drawn thee. So you want to show them the love and the kindness so you're able to get what you want. Mm-hmm.
So they actually have those ladies meet with those guys.
I was like, ooh.
I know. So, but I think they did that because they do have to kind of sort out, what the issue is. Yeah. So Alexis meets with Ron. She says she's nervous to talk to him, but she talks to him about the religious conversation, how it rubbed her the wrong way, and that she wants to be transparent, and the fact that you're talking about my friend, you can see religion dripping off of him. She said it was condescending and judgy, and more than anything, her thing is, I have this belief in God, this is my religion, but I've really been trying not to push it on you. I've tried not to make it a forceful thing, but your response, the way you're responding back to me, it's giving me
bad
that
vibes.
You're not receiving it that way. Like you still,
you're giving them bad vibes, and that you're not getting it, and you're not that you're not getting it, not that I'm asking you to convert today, but you're not listening to me.
Right.
You're not hearing me.
And she says she's worked so he doesn't feel like she's trying to push it on him. Yeah. But it's like they're missing the mark. And so Ron goes on this thing, I just see you never had no divine masculinity around you. I'm a leader in my house, and I don't know how long you've had to go without that. Right. And she was like, hold on. What you trying to say? But it really rubbed her the wrong way. And,
Duh.
you know, they had a conversation about, you talking about you chose me because I chose you, and
They getting
I
deep.
didn't choose you. You don't have nothing you can offer. Like, they had a whole conversation about who can offer who what.
They are deep and petty at the same time.
It was rough.
Deep and petty because you're trying to win this person over, right?
Yeah.
I'm trying to get connected to you. I'm trying to get closer to you. I'm trying to and we're having a bigger argument over this where things can be tabled. You know what I'm saying? Table it for a minute. Let's move on.
It was
But
bad.
it was bad. It was just bad between those two.
Yeah, it was bad.
And it's still bad.
But Liz and David was just as bad.
Yeah.
Because they meet up and, you know, she was like, I'm not sure where his head is at. They hadn't talked after he met with her friend Clarence.
Correct.
And it's like, I need to talk to him about this. I don't really know what's going to happen with this. And so he comes in and she starts to try to talk. He's like, no, let me talk.
Let me talk.
And she was like, no, I really want to tell you this. No, you're going to let me talk. It was a whole, man, I was like, good gosh.
Yo, it was just, he was rude. He was rude. She's there. He's figuring that he's going to be eliminated. He's figuring things are going on. He understands because he's been on the other end of the table.
Mm-hmm.
And this is one of the first few times that we see a blow up from somebody who think they might be going home.
Yeah, she, you know, she was like, no, let me talk first. And he just kept over talking her
kept
and wouldn't let her get a word in. It was ugly. But the episode ends like that with the tension between Alexis and Ron and then David and Liz. Which David and Liz look like it's going to escalate even worse.
Yeah, but even the Ron thing to me, it looked like, you know, let's not be too serious.
Yeah.
Let's not be too serious. Let your hair down just a little bit. Let it down a little bit. But Ron and David and Liz,
whew,
that's fireworks right there.
Yeah,
because he got up and he was like, you could see just things start raising up in him. He was hot, and y'all wonder why his ex-wife left him. I'm just saying. Or put him out.
Well,
we'll see. We'll see.
Nobody left because the conversations aren't over.
Mm-hmm.
Well, they'll be continued on the next episode. So
we'll see who get eliminated. We'll see if David survives. We'll see if Ron survives, or do we see if both of them are gone home?
Right.
Because the men, if you think about it, the men had never recouped that one when two women went home.
Right.
So you want to have an even number going out to the final stretch.
We shall see.
We shall see. Hey, it is. Make sure you tune in to Ready to Love on this Friday night. I guarantee you that there is some explosiveness that's getting ready to take place.
Yeah.
It's going to be fireworks. It's going to be fireworks. But nonetheless, I digress. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. Make sure you hit that bell notification so you don't miss any of our reviews. Man, Ready to Love. What a week. I can't wait till next week. Everybody's dogging my man David. Was David wrong for getting up like he did? Was Liz wrong for handling the situation? That way. And I'm saying wrong, and I'm not mean. I know she was there to do a job, whether it's the date or to eliminate. I'm talking about to continue the argument. I think she kept herself trying to be professional. Like, David, are you gonna let me talk, David?
Robert.
You know, so she tried to be professional, but there's a certain point when somebody's not listening to you, just shut up.
Yeah. I don't know, but we'll see. But thank y'all for watching, and we'll get back with you soon.
Hey, we'll catch you down the road. Make sure you hit the subscribe button and the bell notification.
Thanks. Bye.